And we're live, ladies, gents, boys, girls, children of all ages. Welcome to a review of AEW Dynamite, sort of, kind of, sort of. I don't know. We'll figure it out. This is the Lonely Marks because Jacob broke up with us here on the Pierce Wrestling Channel. I am JPO, Jordan Pierce Owens, joined by Eddie Kingston's favorite podcaster, Richie Nemo Goodacre.
Good to be here, man. Yeah, good. I just thought, you know what, I feel like Dynamite is usually a pretty noteworthy show. I think there's a lot to talk about here. So, yeah. So, we should. I just thought, we should dive in, and lot to discuss, and in terms of maybe what they're putting out for the future, and maybe the negatives, and maybe some of the positives. So, yeah.
Well, we started off with a bit of a celebration here. The new Ring of Honor World Champion. Here's a sentence I never thought I'd say. New Ring of Honor World Champion Chris Jericho, along
The
with
Ocho.
the Ocho. Yeah, I'm sure that's on a T-shirt already over at Pro Wrestling Tees. I think that's all Jericho does now. Is he goes, "Will look good on a T-shirt for a week or two."
Okay.
Always
Wizard,
coming up with something.
yeah, the Wizard is 2 months. It's a couple months old now. I need to come up with something. I'm the
Wizard.
Ocho.
What else did he try to get over? FU or I don't know. He had something like that was like an abbreviation of a curse word. I feel like he's constantly trying to come up with new stuff. Sometimes it works, sometimes less so. But hey, can't knock the guy for selling some shirts. So him and the Appreciation Society come out along with making his second appearance on Dynamite, more than half the roster. Luigi, the pizza guy, or whatever his name is.
Luigi Primo.
He's making the best pizza, and you can get a cameo from him for only $30.
Yeah, should probably mention, like, you might have, I don't know if you noticed, Jake Hager wasn't there because I believe he was stuck in Florida with all the.
I didn't even know he was a Floridian. Okay.
Yeah, so and apparently the whole coming out in wearing purple was his idea, and he never got to do it.
And of course, just actually, not that you said that too, big shout out and our love to everyone in Florida, everyone in Cuba, whoever that was infected by the hurricane recently. I'm a longtime Florida resident. I'm pretty sure where I lived literally this time last year got beat up pretty nicely. I've been waiting to find out if I did live in that area, if I would even have a home right now. So some stuff got pretty messed up. So loving thoughts with everyone. I believe for the most part, everyone I know is safe, but there's always some damages. So big thoughts that go out to them. Poor Florida was getting beat up every once in a while here. So yes, we had a celebration kicking off. Obviously, still leading that Daniel Garcia is not happy. Gonna definitely lead to that at some point.
Do you
in
think
by Brian Danielson. What do you think about the celebration?
Do you think I was just gonna say? Do you think they wait in terms of the build up with Jericho and Daniel Garcia? Do you think they wait and potentially until like a final battle, which would be December, but it's still a little way away, or do you think they do the match before that? I can see them doing it. I can see them building it out for a final battle. I think it'd be
The fact that we didn't get like Death Before Dishonor or Glory by Honor makes me feel like we're not getting anything until December. I don't think they're going to squeeze in like an October, November show. So, I mean, that's definitely the storyline that's been going for a while now. So, I think you could definitely milk kind of jumping ahead a little bit here, but like what Jericho's going to kind of seem like he's doing, which is destroy Ring of Honor. I think you can milk that for a little while. You got Danielson, you got Samoa Joe, we got Dalton Castle, and who else they could scrounge up too. You know what I mean?
I mean, what I'm looking forward to. You've also got PCO, who's an Impact. They could bring him over.
They could. Jay Lethal definitely, there's a good match. I know Lethal would want that too. Lethal's a big Jericho guy, so
Adam Cole.
I don't know. Well, I just feel like he's too hurt, and I think that'd be weird to bring him out just to make him lose. But he's maybe Kyle O'Reilly if he's healed up by then. So you definitely got options to look at storyline, and it doesn't even need to be world. You know what I mean? He attacked the ring announcer, he's attacked Carrie, so it could be other people. I could see maybe even Caprice Coleman like getting pissed off and having like a match with him somewhere, so
bring out Colt Cabana again, maybe.
Why not? No, I mean, if you're having a Ring of Honor versus AEW or Jericho rather kind of thing, and that'd be a good match too.
It'd be cool if the combination of all this like Jericho versus Ring of Honor like culminates in them announcing, "Oh, we got a TV deal." And I'm like, "Oh, cool, that'd be good."
I almost thought for a second at the beginning he was about to be like, and because of me, we'll be on FX this fall. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
thought the way he was kind of like, I'm making it count for once. Like I kind of thought maybe they would, because that is the thing that's missing. I'm a huge Ring of Honor guy to a degree. Ring of Honor actually helped me get back into wrestling. I was kind of falling out after WCW's dead, ECW's dead, and no knock on WWE, but I like a difference. I like having a break. I like seeing other companies, and it truly was Ring of Honor that made me go, "Oh shit!" and like kind of opened my eyes to indie wrestling in general. Of like,
yeah,
you don't need pyro, you don't need anything fancy. I'm talking Ring of Honor 2002 when they were in recreation centers and you could see the basketball hoop hung up. You know what I mean? Like kind of Ring of Honor. So and so I have a lot of love for Ring of Honor, but it's been kind of like an afterthought, and like it almost in a way I'm stealing some Brian Alvarez. It's kind of gotten in the way of AEW. You know what I mean? Like sometimes where it's like, oh yeah, we got to do this Ring of Honor thing real quick. You know what I mean? And the
yeah,
pay-per-views and like, I feel bad for Gresham. Like his reign kind of ended, I think, kind of in a sad way. And like Claudio's reign was kind of just okay, because there's only so much you can do to shoehorn in on a Rampage, on a Battle of the Belts, a Dynamite.
yeah,
So I do hope there's a deal coming. Yeah.
yeah, and then they can actually like have like build up proper, build up proper like kind of have storyline reason why they're having a match, because even like the Jericho Claudio thing, that was like I think that was made like the match was made on the Rampage before. It's like, man, that should have a big build, but yeah,
Yeah,
just
no, that did. That's why I didn't think Jericho was gonna win. Partly based on like, oh, this is kind of just it's another match. You know what I mean? Because there wasn't much of a build. Like I did not think Jericho was gonna win, largely based on that.
yeah. It was just it seemed a bit odd. Yeah. I mean, you'd think that Claudio would want a rematch at some point as well, but I don't know if they could go that route. But yeah,
Oh yeah, they
yeah,
probably should at some point. I mean, we're getting the rematch now with Danielson again, that's a lot of Danielson Jericho matches, but
probably to
I'm
make
not gonna complain.
to make up for the fact they barely touched each other in WWE. Only wrestled one.
Hey, they had that classic 5 minute NXT match.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you want to talk about next? I gotta help my niece or something. Let's talk about Jericho. No, I'm sorry, Brian Danielson defeating Matt Menard in 840.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like again, like I mean, this match was sort of just made up. I mean, on the fly. I don't know whether I kind of it was under. Maybe there was something here which couldn't be done because of the situation in Florida, but maybe this was the plan all along. It was very, as you see as we go along, it's a very promo heavy, heavy show, and some are good, some are bad. But yeah, this was I actually I kind of missed it, and I thought that they were going to make that tag. That there was a tag match they set up, and I thought that was for this week. And I was like, oh no, that's for uh, is it next week? Oh, it's like in a couple of weeks or something like that. So, but yeah, so yeah. Like basically, Daniel Garcia and Jericho have butting heads, and then Matt Menard got involved, and then Brian Danielson came out and challenged Matt Menard to a match, and decent match here for an promotion match, decent match. I think I, I think 2.0 or whatever they call themselves, I think they're underrated. So I think they're very
Yeah,
entertaining.
I'd like to see them wrestle more. Like for guys that were in like the War Games or the Blood and Guts, like we still don't really see them a lot. You know what I mean? And they're good talkers. The other one, or is it Menard himself? Yeah, Menard is I think a really fun talker.
Yeah,
He's got a really fun
he,
swagger about
he,
him.
he's very like I think my friend when I was watching this sort of made that comment. He's very much like a throwback to the 80s or 90s. Very kind of
He is. He is. He would
very
fit perfectly as like a shitty heel in the 80s. Absolutely.
yeah. So and it was a good match. I'm glad having getting showcased. So we should
Yeah, man.
you
No, I've been fans of theirs for a minute, man. Dating back to them in Canada. They're not too long after the school of like Owens and Generico and stuff like that. Like a couple years after them, they started popping up, and like their biggest claim to fame before NXT was probably like Chikara. But like I was still like, oh, they're really good, and I was happy to see them in NXT. And they were definitely like jobbers, but they were like jobbers that at least had characters and like vignettes and stuff and like moments on the TV. So I was surprised when they released them because they were actually getting decent TV time in NXT. Like they weren't just guys that were like doing nothing. They were losing a lot, but they were at least having fun and like they were still kind of getting over. And I was very happy to see NXT take, or I'm sorry, AEW take them.
Yeah, and like in NXT, they're doing kind of cool, funny stuff with like I think it was Hit Row. So I was looking forward to see where that was going, but they kind of got the brakes cut off before they were, before that got going. They even showed up in like I don't watch it much, but like they showed up in Control Your Narrative as like Statloff and Waldorf like commentator like sort of commentary.
I never even saw that.
They're just sort of like they're kind of just like chilling in the like up in the balcony, kind of doing commentary, like like the Muppets, the old Muppets guys. So so no, that was fun. Yeah, I think that they're definitely having their value seen since they've been released. I feel like maybe like those guys are probably one Triple H looking at like, man, we slept on them. Maybe we'll reach out to them someday.
Who knows? Maybe it wasn't. It's not Triple H's fault. Obviously, Vince was the one making the final cut at the end of the day because NXT was using them. Like that's the weird part I was saying is that they were being used. Like you know what I mean? As far as like whenever they do releases, not that I agree with them, but sometimes you can kind of go like, well, that makes sense. That person hasn't been around TV much, or they've been doing nothing of note. But like these are the kind of guys where I was like, oh yeah, you were literally like in the middle of something with these guys,
Yeah. That was it's a weird time, with all those releases. Just like because like a lot of them were in the middle of stuff. So but yeah, look, I wouldn't be mad if at somewhere down the line if they do get a tag title run. I think they could be good. But I'm not sure when that will come in, but or maybe get one of the Jericho Appreciation Society guys and go for the trios. I don't know, but yeah, like I do dig them. So yeah.
Oh yeah, the trio titles. I forgot about those already. That's a thing. We had a world. Here's something I want you to explain to me. World title eliminator match. Well, all these eliminator matches. I get what it is. If you win, you get a title shot. But like, why is eliminator though? Like, what's eliminating? If the champion wins, he's eliminating his opponent. But if the other guy wins, then what's he eliminating?
It's like I don't know. Like eliminating Juice Roberts would be eliminating competition to the title if he loses. Oh, if he wins, he'd be eliminating the rankings because apparently they don't.
True.
There's supposed to be rankings, but then Juice Robertson, who hasn't wrestled AEW.
This is a great example of that. I didn't think about that because you always joke, and I agree about the rankings matter. Here's a great example of a dude who's had 0 matches. He's a New Japan, sometimes Impact guy, and getting almost a world title shot. Literally 1 match away, he would have had it. Moxley did win in 10:28. I felt like the fans that were maybe possibly a little cold in this match at first.
That's sort of a kind of a theme for the whole show. Like I think I thought the crowd were a bit dead, mainly the whole show. I don't know if it was just I don't know. They seem to be in a smaller building. I don't know if that was like I think they added like a university type thing. But yeah, like I don't know. But like I mean. They did pop for like some things, but yeah, I just thought that they were a bit sort of bit colder. Like they like it felt like a crowd that liked the segments, but were kind of cold to the matches sometimes, except for the main
event. Same thing can be said for the main event. Just jump into that. Like there were colder moments and kind of heated up a little bit towards the end. I don't know. I'm always torn on things like this because I like Juice Robinson. I don't mind him on my television, but again, like there's just so many people on the roster that it's like, oh, you know what I mean? And I can see why some people feel even colder because, like, if you don't know New Japan / Impact, why are you going to care that this dude's fighting your world champ all of a sudden,
Well, I mean, it did come across like when Juice Robinson came out that not a lot of people in the building knew who he was. So I thought he'd get.
Hey, man.
I thought he'd get a bigger pop than he did because, like, the Bullet Club theme, and he was just sort of there.
It shows it doesn't always translate. Like I think Tony kind of just figures it will. Like, oh, he's a New Japan guy. Absolutely, this will work. And I don't know. Like I said, I don't mind it. I'm very torn on it because, like I said, I'm never gonna, hate the fact that like people like Juice and Jay White can just kind of pop up whenever. But I don't know.
And also, like if people in the building who just watch maybe WWE or NXT, you're gonna know him as CJ Parker, and he wasn't like betrayed as a really top guy. So it's like
I don't know. You think there's anyone in the building though that's like, hey, that's that dude from 7 years ago who was a hippie? Because he doesn't even like he looks the same, but like I could see someone not necessarily piecing that together.
I could see him like apparently like he's even though he's like I think he's still signing New Japan until next year, but he's like sort of hovering around. I could see him eventually going to AEW just because he's dating Tony Storm. So.
Well, they did hint on commentary. They say he's a free agent on commentary. They say that at one point. So don't know if that was a hint of like we might sign him. Like that's kind of how I viewed it. So
possibilities. But yeah, I mean, like sometimes I enjoy like these these guys like who just sort of have free reign of where they go, like because like, that's why I like Impact sometimes because like people just pop in for appearances here and there, so you don't know who's going to show up. Like
one thing about Impact that I'll give them some credit on is I feel like sometimes they, and I'll even say Impact over AEW in this sense of I feel like they at least think a little bit ahead of time. Like the Briscoes, for instance, were kind of in and out pretty quickly, but they had kind of like a consecutive like idea and story and like a title run, and you know what I mean. Sometimes with AEW, I feel like it's just 1 week with him, he's in and out, or 2 weeks set up a match, he's gone, and like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like there's not enough thought put into it.
Yeah, and we'll get into not using your roster to like or forgetting. Forgetting about half your roster. So,
holy shit! I gotta take off my headphones because Fido agrees. I'll set up what's going on next here. We had the former Paige Saraya coming out with her first promo, her first talking segment here in AEW, and
it was look, and I got the impression that she was like what, like she's like because she's not fully cleared yet, but I think she's it's looking potentially optimistic, but she's never actually hinted like I'm gonna wrestle. She's like she specifically said I'm gonna be a mentor.
She brings out the roster, and we end up with a lumberjack match, which I think could have done without.
I'll correct you. She didn't bring out the roster. She goes, "Let's bring out the AEW women," and 5 women run down the ramp.
Oh yeah,
including Willow Nightingale, who I don't even think is signed. Like, where's Hikaru Shida? Where's Nyla Rose? Where's
in respect, I mean, they're not gonna book everyone for the taping, so that I kind of get because, like, I mean, no need of having too many excess bodies, but
I guess, but don't go, hey, here's a women's division, and then having
fun. Including, like you said, someone who we're not even sure is even on the full-time roster.
I mean,
it was just a very weird, like, middling promo of like kind of some generic sayings. That's my house, and I'm like, isn't it Swerve's house? Also, like, how many? Too many houses.
Yeah, and then like Britt Baker comes out, and then like Britt Baker takes some digs at like her injury, her neck and stuff, and then like or her name. It's like, oh, no one can pronounce your name properly, and he goes, oh, and then she goes, it's right. Goes, oh, you're going to talk. And then people are like, what are you talking about? Like, he's like, oh yeah, Brit, doesn't that rhyme with shit? I'm like, yeah, that was pretty lame. Not gonna lie,
So, well, we're both adults here, Richie. So it's censored here in the U.S., and I kept thinking, like, did she say clit or like what got censored? Like, I actually didn't even think of shit. I thought it was harsh. I thought it was harsher than that.
It was just shit. I was like, that is like, but I guess because like there had been word a few months ago that the only complaint that Warner Discovery or whatever that is that like they need to turn down the language, so they probably beeped it out. That's probably why they beeped it out.
Chuck Taylor even said that recently. I was still like, man, I never got to say shit, and now they're telling us not to say it. You know what I mean? Like, so it has been said to like, calm down on the shits and maybe the middle fingers. I don't know, but definitely it's not like language wise they have been told chill a little bit. Like, we'll give you some leeway, but
but I don't know, man. Like I don't know if this promo was off the cuff or someone helped with bullet points. But yeah, maybe that shit Baker line pretty lame. You could have come up with she had a pretty she you know you could have come up with a bigger dig than that. I feel
Yeah.
like.
It's another example of, not to nitpick it, but this it just reminds me again, kind of like what I said about the forethought. Like this promo just felt like nothing really happened. You know what I mean? Like we still don't know like exactly what her role is. It led to an okay match. It just was just kind of there. You know what I mean? Like this is not the the day last week's debut was cool because it was just simply her being there, and this was like her first time to talk, and I think the ball was dropped here as far as actually having a juicy thing to say or do, or you know what I mean? Just kind of like I'm kind of a mentor to these
Yeah.
generic five. I don't know.
And then there's just like there's not as much direction. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like again, Tony Storm's the interim champion. But when does Thunder Rosa coming back? If she's not coming back for a while, just make her the actual champion. And like if you're bigging her up, but she's only interim, it's kind of I don't know, just make her the actual champ, and then have some direction. I don't even know. Like I can't even I can't with a lot of the male feuds I can be like, okay, they're going this direction, that'll probably happen here. With women I'm like, what, are they just gonna, I don't know, like they do her and Serena Deeb again, or and Tony Storm, and like where is this guy? Is it Tony Storm and Britt Baker? Look, and look, if it is, like I love Britt Baker, but like they do have her like kind of dominate the whole dominate screen time, and like she's good. I understand she's really good, but like it's just like it feels like the whole division, like the most important person in that division is Britt Baker. At the cost of whatever if she isn't the champion, whoever the champion is. Like I feel, and like they're kind of trying to suggest maybe a feud between Saraya and Britt Baker, but I think that. Like, I mean, the crowd are more interested in a potential feud between Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. I think Jamie Hayter is the most over person in that division at the moment. But it's like, yeah, but again, it just doesn't feel like Tony Storm's a champion, and she doesn't feel that as important as all the other people. But,
Yeah, no, they definitely could be a little more solidifying the importance of it. She does defeat Serena here in 11:08. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure where we exactly go from here. Probably Britt. I think it's a safe choice for maybe full gear or whatever. Um, our boy Ricky Starks, who was not squashed on the pay per view, but did squash EJ Isom tonight or on Dynamite in 51 seconds here. EJ, I like EJ. He was a Ring of Honor guy for the last couple of years here. I believe a student originally as well, or maybe just like one of those kind of breakout guys. So just a quick win here to Ricky Starks to kind of solidify that like they're high on him and.
yeah. Like, yeah, I didn't recognize him at first, but yeah, it's like it would have been cool to get him get some offense on Ricky, but I understand why not. But yeah.
Yeah, technically that could have been a really good match. Actually, like I thought we were gonna see more of like a Matt Menard Danielson 5-8 minute match, but we didn't.
Yeah. I mean, every time they say such and such is in action, okay, this is going to be a squash. He's going to have a squash match.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's at least a competitive match with AEW, but you definitely know who's going to win for sure. But yeah, this was definitely the definition of a squash. I mean, not even a minute long.
Yeah, that they did like I sort of mentioned before. Like it was a very kind of there wasn't. I mean, you're going to have shows like this sometimes, but it wasn't really as heavy on the wrestling until like the main event. It was very very promo heavy, or when they had matches of short.
No, that is true. Yeah, I mean, with commercial breaks, two of them did get to past 10. Moxley and Juice and Tony and D, but literally by seconds or a minute long, and that's with the commercial break. And then you got another match that didn't even go a minute. So yeah, it was kind of more of a heavier speaking episode, which is similar. Like the one I feel I saw in Florida, I felt was very promo heavy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess sometimes you need those to build them up, but yeah, it kind of. I mean, it's not definitely not my favorite type of episodes, but it's they serve their purpose, I guess.
Just set up in the future here. Speaking of people like Juice Robinson, who just popped up, our main event is featuring a guy that's not really been on AEW. Bandito taking a loss to Chris Jericho, former Ring of Honor World Champion. Bandito was in 1825. Like I said, it took a second, I think, for the crowd to warm up, but a pretty good match here, man. I still give a lot of credit to Jericho for hanging and banging and as good as he is right now. And then the aftermath of setting up that it's going to be kind of Jericho against Ring of Honor, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun to see kind of maybe what they pull from there. And hopefully it lasts. Hopefully he's not just doesn't lose to Danielson and that's it. But hopefully it
Yeah.
lasts for a minute. But I think definitely, I think the money is going to be Jericho and Garcia at some point.
Yeah. No, and this was a great match. Good. I think I think the crowd were kind of quiet at the start, but like they really got into Bandito, and yeah, he's really talented dude. And awful credit to Jericho. Again, you forget he's 51 years old. He can still go. It'd be interesting to see who they bring in. Like, do they bother to bring in like Matt Taven? Not sure. And apparently,
Oh yeah, that's kind of my statement.
yeah, and apparently, Bandito after the show got offered a contract with AEW. So
That's cool, man. I like him a lot. He was somebody I was wondering if they would sign because he was one of the wasn't he? Does he main event the first All In? Was that that Mysterio Young Bucks match? Like, is he in that? So he was somebody.
Yeah.
No. Yes. Maybe. Yeah.
I think
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're two hosts of the show, or about 60% sure he was in that. So I always thought he might get signed then, and then he stuck with Ring of Honor, which wasn't a bad call because Ring of Honor did end up pushing him all the way to the main event, and he had some really great matches there. So yeah, I'm not too surprised here, man. Bandito's a really talented guy, so I'm happy to see him. He fits right in there with a lot of their roster, a lot of interesting matches that could be coming up down the pipeline if he is indeed coming, which I'm cool with.
No, I think he's definitely got like I like his look. I haven't seen much of him, but yeah, from what I've seen, I really liked. He was the highlight of like the Ric Flair last match pay per view. I think he was a part of a Luchadors match, and that match. So yeah, I can see them doing.
Speaking of that match too, Black Taurus over at Impact, I think is finally going to push.
And it looks like he's going to he might get at least get an X Division title shot at some point soon, which is good. I love Black Taurus, so I like I do hope, I think Bandito would be a good fit. Just hopefully it's not like a case where like, oh cool, it's not a new guy, or he's our brand new toy for a while, and now we'll put him aside.
Maybe, man. I did notice AEW, same thing. AEW loves touting like what is it? I don't want to say the wrong word, but like for this week they were touting Spanish like Heritage Month, but it was kind of funny that like half the poster was like, "You're never on television. You're never on television." You know what I mean? Like there's at least six of like the 10 people on there. It was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot Andrade wasn't contracted." You know what I mean? Like, and you debuted Roosh, and he was in that ladder match on the pay per view. What since? So there's definitely that fear, man. Ortiz hasn't been able to do much since Santana was gone. He was kind of involved in that mixed tag with Sammy for a couple of weeks, but other than that, he hasn't had anything to do. So yeah, it is that fear of don't you have enough already? Don't you have enough toys? And then you go and then you bring in people like a Juiceland, like a Bandito this week. Like you're still doing things like that. So yeah, I don't know. Like you said,
would it be worth just to like maybe potentially have people, get utilized that aren't getting utilized? Like if they do get Ring of Honor does get a TV like deal or whatever, do you do like some sort of like a draft between the two things? Like, okay, you're on Ring of Honor, you're on AEW, you're on, you know what I mean? Like
sort of. I mean, I could see that being, obviously a place where they obviously don't have a hell of a lot for Tony Nese. He's been kind of a jobber to a degree. Put Tony Nese in Ring of Honor, I mean, have him have bigger, longer matches there. Obviously, that's kind of what they were doing originally, like with like Brian Cage and Colt Cabana. Cage randomly in that Battle Royal on Rampage a couple weeks ago. I thought that was funny. Like, oh yeah, you use him for that, but that's all you got for Brian Cage? Is that one random Battle Royal? Okay.
And I thought maybe like I thought they were maybe setting up for like Lee Moriarty to be over there as well, like Ring of Honor. I thought maybe
at first, absolutely, I think that was going to be a plan, and then maybe the TV just hasn't started on those same way they thought. So now Moriarty's in the firm with the Cass and everything. And I want to see Cass wrestle. I want to see Morrissey wrestle. So far, he's just been other than the matches that he had beforehand. Put these people in some matches.
And he's a guy that for a while there, I wasn't a huge fan of him, but like meant like when he went to Impact, he really showed that he's kind of turned things around, and he was actually
Yeah,
quite.
dude. I think 100%. It's made sense to me the way his career has worked as far as like he had some demons, he battled them, he went to Impact in great shape, put on some really good matches here. AEW looked at him because he was a name, you know what I mean, and then later on AEW was probably like, yeah, man, let's take him because like the dude's good, you know what I mean, like he can have some really good matches now.
Yeah, and the dude's like, I wouldn't, yeah, like I want to see him use more. Like, the dude's all right. The dude's okay at promos as well. Like, just have him talk, do some stuff.
Yeah, no, he's good, man. He's got kind of a one. I don't want to say one note style, but like he is good at like kind of the way he delivers. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, cool, you got him, and he's kind of in a story, or at least he's in a faction right now. But like, have him do some stuff. You know what I mean? So far, I think all he's done is kick somebody. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Put him in a
Have him
match.
have him like, I don't know, do a thing with Wardlow or something. I know that he had a match with him, but maybe do
Dude,
something like
Wardlow,
that.
anybody, man. Him and Eddie Kingston could probably have a good like feud or a match. Like him and whatever, Him and Joe would be a banger. I think. Put him in with Joe. Put him in a TV title match. Like you
Yeah.
got him. Use him.
So speaking, it looks like I don't know if that's going to build something. But it looks like they're trying to make a tag team out of Wardlow and Samoa Joe.
I don't know if it's a tag team or just like a temporary like because they
Yeah.
kind of have the same common enemies kind of thing. Was a War Joe?
Wardlow,
So
yeah.
I don't think there's room for a tag team for them. Plus, they're singles champions, so let's not do that too much. Let's have them
Yeah, I
actually,
was gonna.
especially Wardlow, defend that damn title.
Yeah, that was like when Claudio won the Ring of Honor title, and then like after FTR defended on the pay per view, they both came out. I'm like, look, and then at the time Wheeler Yuta was champion too. I'm like, you both got championship. Just maybe wait a while before you start challenging for a new for a different one. I want to see more
Yeah.
defense first.
No,
So
absolutely. That's why I'm like, I don't hate that idea, but I kind of do hate it now, just based on like you're busy. Stop it. You can have
yeah,
titles.
yeah, but yeah, and it looked like, I mean, from Rampage last week, it looked like, I mean, Ward like had a bit of injury scare there, like trying to like getting it, like I think clotheslining
Yeah.
Josh Woods over the top rope, and he kind of like kind of did his knee in or something. But I guess he must be all right because I don't think he's actually, doesn't seem like he's actually injured. But yeah, but I'm glad he's around. But yeah, I hope they use Wardlow more, man. I think he's cooled off a bit. But yeah,
Oh, 100%. I think we talked about it on a previous Lonely Marks episode about like, what he's actually done with that title, especially recently. Like it hasn't been a hell of a lot, you know what I mean? And he definitely has cooled from somebody that like organically got huge as far as like popularity and overwise and the little orchestra of his power bomb, and now like it has cooled down.
yeah,
Again, looking him up, literally. So his last major defense was in early August at Battle of the Belts. That's almost 2 months ago that he had an actual 7-minute match. Other than that, he squashed Ryan Nemeth and he squashed Tony Nese, and that's all he's done as far as title matches now in 2 months. Like, come on, man! Like you're AEW, you're the wrestling company. You know what I mean? No
yeah.
offense, but I can't believe I'm saying this, Richie. 2 years ago, I never thought I'd say this, but hey, AEW, take after WWE. Look
Yeah.
at what they're doing with Lashley. I give a shit about the U.S. title right now because you're having almost weekly, consistently good matches. And with Wardlow, it's the opposite. It's like, oh, he's in a tag match. Oh, he's squashing Ryan Nemeth, who's only been a dark guy mostly. Like, come on, man. Like, you got no one better for Wardlow? You got nothing, no one, like an actual match that he can have?
Yeah. Look what they're doing with the Intercontinental title. I've never been more into Sheamus. I think I've never been like just
Yeah, dude. One of the
because
best matches of a weekend that included an AEW show was an Intercontinental title match. Like, never thought I'd say, never being the AEW lover I really was for a little while. I never thought I'd be like, hey, take a note from WWE, please. You know what I mean?
yeah. And they even forget, like, I don't know, like I forget sometimes that championships, like I forget that Puck is the All Atlantic champion because I don't know, like as a gimmick, and they need to get over the gimmick properly. Is he supposed to, like, is All Atlantic champion means he mainly defends it like
There hasn't been a guideline. At first, that's what I thought it was. I almost thought it was going to be like anywhere but AEW because that's all it was for a minute. But he's done it now. He did it on the pre-show with Kip Sabian and whatnot. And so I don't know. Oh, and with
Yeah.
Pac on TV, he did it with Pac, or not Pac. He is Pac. He did it with Cassidy.
Yeah. So I like, and then up until Cassidy, I didn't know if Americans could challenge for it because a lot of the, I think, I don't know, they haven't
What,
done
you're
good
gonna make it a non-American title, Richie? Jeez, you hate us that much?
Oh no, but yeah, but yeah, no, it'd be, um, yeah, I don't know. I just wish hopefully belts, titles don't get lost in the shuffle. I know they had to change the trios, but yeah, but but I forget they're trios champions as well. I don't know if they're waiting for Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks to get off suspension to they actually do something substantial. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. Just I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't think I'd say this a couple years later too, but yeah, they're just I don't know. Book better. I love it. I love Dynamite, but yeah, like Rampage, but yeah, just
Again, I'm looking it up here, and these are just facts. They won the titles, the Triangle, on September 7th. This is September 30th, which means it's about a solid 3 weeks, a week away from it being a month, and we haven't had a single, defense. And this is a brand new title that already had the unfortunate, vacancy of Omega and the Bucks. Like you're already starting off with like, what bad luck for that title. So
yeah.
they should have had a defense by now. They really should have. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
got 3 hours a week of television. You should have found a week that they should have defended them. A week or two later.
yeah. And there's a lot of people are in factions. You wouldn't be able to, it'd be easy to just find somebody who's like I don't know, like who could do the job on TV.
There's
Yeah,
some. They're heels. They could have done They could have done a Dark Order rematch. Like, hey, Dark Order, you were close at the pay-per-view. Fight us, or
I don't know,
let's
maybe
give it 2 seconds left. Let's even FTR and somebody. You know what I mean? FTR and Joe. That would be a great match. Like, I don't know, just something.
yeah, or even like I don't know, like I'm not considering it as a job or anything, but like it'd be just get Parker Bordeaux back on TV, back on TV, do the Truth Busters thing. Oh, I don't know.
They're on Dark now, and they have a butler named Jeeves K.
Is that okay? That wasn't.
It's VSK from Impact.
Oh, okay, yeah. The learning from that faction, the learning tree or whatever. Yeah, I remember them. Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. I only seen a little bit of the learning tree. I liked what I saw, but I didn't see much. I felt like it ended kind of quickly. But yeah, that's where he's from.
Yeah. Okay.
You see him on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast sometimes. He's one of he didn't start. He's been around longer than Kurt Hawkins started training in school, but then I think he kind of relearned from Hawkins a little bit.
Okay. Also, I shout out to Brian Myers. I think he's another guy who's kind of proven his worth here since he got released. I think he's been doing pretty good in Impact. We mentioned Morrissey before. I really liked the running gag they had for a while there, where Morrissey was trying to put him through a table.
Yeah, I was actually at one of their like penultimate matches. I saw them wrestle, and then he put him through a table in the match I saw him wrestling back in March.
Yeah,
and still doing good stuff. He had a ladder match before the last pay-per-view, and then the week after he defeated Crazy Steve this past Thursday. And now they are setting up an open challenge, which makes me think he's probably about to lose the title to someone new. But
speaking of, we could probably maybe there, but like at least like with Impact Open challenges, they feel like open challenges. You don't know who's going to show up with, but like they announce on like Dynamite, it's like Acclaimed are going to throw out an open challenge. It's like, oh, cool. Well, we will find out who's going to wrestle them on Rampage. No, they just announced, triple threat match. I think it's Swerve in the Glory and somebody else. Oh, maybe Private Party, I think. And it's like, okay, that's all right. I don't know. I just feel like open challenges should be a surprise. Like you come out and go, who wants to face us? Music hits.
Yeah, that is definitely, it's partly our fault because we assume that, but there's a reason we assume that. Like you make it sound special. WWE's definitely done that too, where they're like, tonight you're gonna face someone, a mystery opponent, and like you hear open challenge mystery opponent, you go, oh shit, what are they gonna do? And then it ends up being like Kane, and you're like, oh, the dude that's there every week, fuck you, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
being called out from NXT. Oh no, they're not.
no, it's literally the dude that's there every week anyway. Just the way they built him tonight was, special, which is the a weird overhype. So yeah, I'm with you on that. It's partly our fault, but like they know that if you say open challenge or if you say mystery opponent, like we're assuming it's someone cool. You know what I mean? Someone different.
And we haven't really got into it, but like, what was the point of what was the point of Jade Cargill versus Diamante?
I don't know, man. My poor girl Diamante, who I have so much love and respect for. I don't know. It was another one that was pretty darn short, from what I recall. Well, actually, I have it here.
I'm like, what's the end goal here? Like, who's she actually going to have a competitive match?
Oh yeah, not even 3 minutes. Not even 3 minutes. A match that actually I wouldn't say had build, but they at least hyped it like it was going to be an actual like real title defense. Not even 3 minutes. Diamante's first major television match in like a year or two. I think I looked up on Lonely Marks. She was on Dynamite like 2 years ago with Ivelisse when she was contracted. Like, I don't know, man. And are they hinting now that Trina's gonna wrestle, or what was the point?
I don't know. But they did a thing where it was like, oh no, Trina turned on her. I'm like, I didn't know who she was in the first place. Why would I give a fuck?
AEW. I don't give a shit about Trina. And here's the thing. I'm not saying I couldn't down the line, but yeah, you did a horrible job of that storytelling. You bring out this random rapper in a promo who doesn't cut a great promo back, just kind of says like 2-3 words. There's a stare off. I don't care. I got to Google her name. And then next week you just have her turn. And again, I don't care. Give me a reason to care other than the fact that she's Trina, whatever that means. No offense. Like, man, maybe you're a great rapper, but I'm just saying as a wrestling fan, like, it's the same thing if like a wrestler showed up on her album and they're like, holy shit, like the rapper fans wouldn't care,
Yeah.
That was a weird decision.
I feel like they have no direction for Jade Cargill other than to pad her record. Like, they should be setting someone up who could actually beat her at this point. Like she's gone
at this point, yeah. And like at first I was like, okay, milk it, have her have some good wins, but like I hate to say it, I'm very ready for her to be like, all right, okay, find out who's taking her down now. This has ran its course to me. It really has.
That's why I generally thought it was going to be Athena, and then I'm like, and that was a nothing match.
Like, that was another one, a pay-per-view nothing match that lasted like less than 10.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, are they waiting for like someone like Chris Statlander to come back? I don't know. It's like
less than 5. That wasn't even a 5-minute match, and that was a pay-per-view one.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, could it be Chris? Like, I almost feel like even that's kind of a diminished return. Like, I feel like it should be someone new, but I don't know at this point. Sasha Banks, whenever Sasha's allowed to come over.
Sasha Banks. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Naomi. I don't know.
So let's play the Ring of Honor Chris Jericho game. Let's see who he can face as a former champion. Low-Key's quit or been fired from every company possible. He hasn't quit or been fired from AEW yet.
He maybe, but I know it's going to be would be only like for that night, but do the AEW guys want him in the locker room?
I don't know. I like I said, I weirdly got along with him like greatly last year when I did a show with him, and I didn't. I wasn't sure. I don't know. He was just kind of chill. I don't know. R.I.P. Xavier, obviously not an option. Samoa Joe, I think makes a lot of sense as a match down the line. Probably not this one. Austin Aries. Any chance we see Double A?
Again, he's probably in the same camp as Low-Key here. Like, I mean, it's not.
Aries might be in a worse camp because at least like Aries is more like a slimy like kind of reason. Low-Key is just kind of like, I don't want a job and I'm awesome and how dare I.
Yeah, I think he's more unapologetic. I think Aries is more unapologetically.
I think we have a better Low-Key chance than Aries.
Yeah, I mean, I back to when you talk about Joe. Like, I have noticed that Jericho, when he's been on commentary, has brought up Joe a lot, saying he's his favorite wrestler. So I think there's something to it.
It's another match that is kind of on the bucket list of like, ooh, that's a match I never thought we might see. Like, Joe gets hurt a lot. Let's do it before it's too late. Let's get Jericho's probably going to out wrestle Joe as far as like longevity. Jericho's going to be wrestling in 5 years. Joe's probably going to be done in like 2.
I mean, Joe was a decent commentator in WWE too. Like, I'd see him transition.
100%. No, someone like that, man. Like, if he wants to stick around as far as commentary, producing, hell yeah, that dude's got He can talk. I'm sure he's got a mind. He's got no problem sticking around if he wants to.
Yeah.
This one's sad. CM Punk
Uh,
probably
yeah,
not happening.
probably not. It would have had the all out thing not happen.
Oh yeah, if the All Out thing hadn't happened, he'd be champ right now. So it wouldn't have happened based on that, I guess. But
But I guess
here's
they
one that
champion.
this
Yeah.
this won't happen because he's backstage at WWE still. Jamie Noble, James Gibson.
Yeah, probably not unless they do like a, a trade thing. But I don't know.
No, I don't think they're desperate enough to be like, we need Gibson.
Yeah.
So we are getting Bryan Danielson, so that's happening for sure in a couple of weeks. This one's definitely possible too, because he's actually done some Ring of Honor stuff. I know he's Eddie Kingston's his boy. Homicide, I could definitely see that being a match.
Well, Homicide did like maybe 6 months ago did show up randomly in AEW like to.
That's what I'm saying. So he's and Tony Khan's a legit. That's why like I think like even low key is maybe possible because I think Tony Khan's he's a Ring of Honor fan. So like definitely in Homicides. Obviously he's relatively cool with him unless something happened that we don't know. But I think he's cool with him. So yeah, why not? I think Homicide's a real possibility for having a match. I don't even think this dude wrestles anymore. Takeshi Morishima. I haven't heard that name in a while.
I haven't seen that dude in ages, but maybe they can.
Nah, he hasn't wrestled in 7 years.
Okay, that's probably.
And he hasn't been to the U.S. in at least 8 because I don't even want to keep scrolling down. Nigel McGuinness, unfortunately, not. Although that would be sweet.
Although he's not. I mean, he's not exactly doing much these days because like he was doing commentary for NXT UK, and that's not going to be a thing for a while. So there will be times. I mean, and he's still contracted though, so he can't. But like,
that's what I mean. He's contracted and he hasn't wrestled at all. So I don't think so. I'd be cool, man. Don't get me wrong. If Nigel ever wrestles again, I'll definitely be super pumped. This is a good one. It probably won't be a match, but it does make sense as somebody he takes out backstage. Jerry Lynn, 100%.
Yeah. I think I'm almost 100% sure you'll see something like that. Yes.
It almost makes no sense not to do it because he's there. He's a weekly agent, or I don't know if he's there every week, but he's there normally. And so why not? Why wouldn't you take out legend, well-respected Ring of Honor World Champion Jerry Lynn, beat the shit out of him backstage?
You'll probably get to it, but don't they also have backstage BJ Whitmer?
Yeah. And like I said, it definitely don't. I'm just going through the world champions, but always, you could take advantage of anyone. And BJ Whitmer is a long time Ring of Honor guy. I mean, that dude was there on and off for like a decade, and a tag team champion. Had some great moments with Jimmy Jacobs. Those two doing suplexes off the top rope, but to the outside. Like those two were nuts.
No.
Let's see here. Tyler Black, unfortunately not. Seth Rollins, Roderick Strong. One thing that does sadden me over at Impact, Bobby Fish has debuted. He'll be in the Gauntlet over at Bound for Glory. Only saddens me because I really wanted to see more Red Dragon in AEW. They barely got to touch the surface.
I feel like they were gearing him up for like a tag title run as well, and just never materialized for one reason or another. But yeah, and I mean Roderick Strong. There was reports that before Vince left that he was very unhappy, that he wanted his release, and it would also make sense that he maybe wanted to go to AEW because his wife's there. And his friends are there as well. But I'm not sure. Like now that there's a new regime, I don't watch as much NXT as I used to, but I haven't seen it. He's not really all over TV, but hopefully maybe they use him again, or I don't know where he lies, but I don't know if he still wants to leave, but yeah, I'm guessing. But yeah, in terms of the story, he'd probably be not a viable option for Jericho at this stage.
Yeah, unless he does his release does come at some point or the contract runs up. It's like you said, I think a year ago I would have said, oh, he might come because he got his wife, Marina Shafir, and you got all his friends. At least you have all the Undisputed Era is literally in AEW now. So, but now Fish is gone. O'Reilly's hurt. Cole's hurt. Unless they're only doing I could see maybe because obviously they have a relationship with Impact. Frankie Kazarian is about to fight for the X Division title at Bound of Glory, stuff like that. So they still have they're still pretty cool with them. They're not doing as much as they were a couple of years back, the world title. But they're still cool with them. So I can see maybe Bobby Fish just being like, listen, Bobby, we don't really have anything singles for you right now. Wait for Kyle to heal up. Maybe go do some fun stuff in Impact. Maybe it's my hope is that once Kyle's kind of cleared, maybe they'll come back. But also, I'm just a huge Kyle O'Reilly fan in general, so I could also them to just be in like, let's just put him in singles. You know what I mean? Whenever he's healed up.
I'm very surprised that, like, I mean, I know he's at the that they never put the title on Kyle O'Reilly in NXT. I thought they were going to at one point. Like,
oh, hey, Chris Chaos.
Hey, Chris. Yeah.
This one's possible, although only not for now because I feel like he's about to fight for the Impact title. Eddie Edwards.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's possible down the line, but also it's like, it's sort of like it's jarring too. But you know how when like mostly Machine Guns like showed up in AEW, they're heels even though they're big baby faces in Impact. It could be a thing where he shows up where he's a massive heel in Impact, but he's probably going to be if he versus Jericho, he's going to be this big baby face. But I could see it happening. Yeah. I think like we just mentioned, I think there's still like a working relationship there. I could see him show up.
Whoa! Look who showed up here.
Oh hey, I joined your chat and now I'm in your thing. What's up?
What's up, man?
Richie, did you send him the link?
No.
I invaded.
I sent it.
It's also live in my own StreamYard right now for some reason, but not like live, but like it automatically puts me in. Apparently, I cannot be in one StreamYard and not in the other.
Inception. So what are we? We're about 50 minutes in. We've been talking for a while. We've been talking just AEW. We're going through all the Ring of Honor World Champions and seeing who Jericho might fight because he's doing Jericho versus ROH.
Not Xavier.
Yeah, we said that already, RFP.
Yes.
Here's a possibility, though. Davey Richards, possibility, free agent.
Yeah.
Definitely not as loved, but definitely not as disliked as like an Austin Aries. So I think it's possible.
No, yeah, he's done things recently. He showed up at he showed up at Impact as like the mystery guy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
At Slammiversary.
I thought that was a return, but I guess not.
It wasn't.
Return. You know.
And he teamed with Eddie Edwards at that Ric Flair to take on the Guns.
They team. They even team for Sammy Callahan's promotion, so they still team sometimes.
Rev Pro, yeah.
Revolver. I guess that is Rev. Yeah.
The one thing I see online that it definitely needs to happen is the Chris Jericho versus Dalton Castle. That just needs to happen.
Yeah, that's going to happen. And there's no reason why that wouldn't. Castle was in the Rampage Battle Royal a couple of weeks ago. He's a big baby face.
He's one of the half of the 6-man Ring of Honor tag team.
Oh yeah, he's a champion right now. Him and the boys. Yeah. I had friends whenever because they used to save money usually when Ring of Honor went to like different places if the boys were maybe busier and far away. They just have random people be the boys. So I've had some friends in Florida that were boys for the night.
And I guess now if they're gonna have more money, it's just gonna be the Tate twins. Yeah, is it the Tate twins that are usually the
Brendan and Brent Tate. Yeah.
I think, and at one point, I think there was interest from WWE just for them, for them, but not Dalton Castle. It's interesting.
Are they twins?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Twins?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look them up. The Tate twins. So,
Brendan. That's probably why WWE had interest because anything twins are just like, let's do this.
They do like they're doing the switcheroo thing they do.
They love that. The Creed brothers or something. They doing it with them. Are they twins?
No.
Oh no, they're not even related.
They look alike.
Yeah, they're not.
Are they not?
I don't even think they're related.
You look that up right now. Now I'm interested in Brutus and Julius. I think they are.
I think so. Back in the day, it kind of boggled my mind that the Bashams weren't related.
Okay, they are. Yeah. Their name is Drew Casper and Jacob Casper, and Brutus is older by 2
I just say because they're both they're WWE OGs, right? Like they were swept up from. They're not indie guys. Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, they're from another sport or something. Yeah, what they're doing. But it blew my mind that Bashams weren't brothers because they look.
Oh yeah, I think I knew that because I was an OVW nerd, so I knew like they were not even like a part of OVW. That was kind of a WWE thing of throwing Doug Basham and Damager together. Well, they do look alike. Like if you didn't know, like you definitely wouldn't know.
I felt bad for Damager because he was he was a big name in like OVW and
Doug even more, man. Doug was the big stud, and who I guess that like Jim Cornetto talks about this too sometimes. Where like he had like long, beautiful hair, and they made him cut it, and he's like, "What the fuck?" Like because it also screwed up like his television. You know what I mean? Like your world, what you mean my world champion doesn't have his hair no more? You know?
Because wasn't the original like the early days of OVW like pretty much them and then Eugene, and that was like their entire like big. That was like their world title picture.
A lot of Nick Dinsmore, a lot of damage of him. Yeah, I mean, it's briefness of like maybe. Oh no, I don't think it's Orin never had it. Orin's only like a hardcore champion, I think. Weirdly enough.
Yeah, I think that's been a trivia question before.
I've done that.
Weird things.
I've done that.
But they bring him up to main roster, and they just look like a creator wrestler guy without you having to do anything. It's like that'll do.
Let's see. We'll finish this up real quick. We got Jay Briscoe, which I feel like I don't know why AEW doesn't want the Briscoes on their television, man. I feel like that would have happened already.
I think there's some issue with like the
Jay tweets from a couple years back.
Yeah, I'm just like, but I have the opinion like that they were ages. People.
My problem with that is if that's true, you're still using him from Ring of Honor though, so it seems a little like eating your cake too. And my also problem with that is like we've seen Sammy Guevara say some dumb shit. He's back. You know what I mean? Like, what was it? They showed was it Excalibur dropping the N-bomb in a promo? Like, some dumb shit. So like we've forgiven other people for some dumb shit. Like I'd like to, I don't know. Scorpio Sky is another example, actually. You can look at this up. Not to throw him under the bus, but Scorpio Sky had said literally exactly what Jay has said to a degree, like a few years ago. And like, has kind of in crow now. And I feel like he has changed and like, you know what I mean? So like, I don't know, like why I just don't get what the process is. Like, oh, we're cool with him, but not with you. And why? So that's my problem.
But there's a lot of like that, like back in, like, I mean, I know he's WWE, but like back when I won't say it, but like, on the Indies sometimes before AJ Styles did the Styles Clash, he would use like a gay slur before hitting the Styles.
I don't know if it's as bad as the other two, but he's another one where you can find him saying like some ignorant shit back in the day. You know what I mean?
And then when Chris Bosch insulted his cheeses.
We mentioned before Adam Cole, kind of a heel who's hurt right now. Michael Elgin, probably not. I feel like he's been gone.
He's probably the same, more so than like he's probably less in the same as Austin areas. But no, I think he's pretty much canceled.
I gotta go get ready for the Clash of Combatants, so I'm hopping back over to my stream. Travis Fame is probably currently watching me, wondering who I'm talking to, but I will see you guys probably soon. Goodbye.
He's so confused. Hey, tell T Fame. Oh, he left her and say, "Tell T Fame I'm coming for him. I beat him before, and I'll beat him again." Sad, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Cass. Go follow him over on Twitch at Chris Cass. I don't know. Do you know what it is? Chris Castifer or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's Chris Castifer. Yeah, look.
Welcome to half-ass plugs by me. Hey, Michael Elgin, actually, by the way, I guess he's not canceled in Japan. He's a current Noah wrestler.
Okay, cool.
I did not know that. Yeah, because last time he wrestled, he did wrestle in April for Horror Slam.
Okay.
All right. Anywho, but I don't see AEW touching him right now. Let's see. Jay Lethal, we mentioned, it's a possibility. He's a heel right now, but I think that'd be a good match. And AEW dips into, heels, faces faces Kyle O'Reilly, if he gets cleared. Oh, this one makes a lot of sense because he still wrestles and he's there. Christopher Daniels. I think that's a big possibility.
Yeah. I think that's a given, actually. I think, hopefully they have a competitive match, but I think Chris Daniels has indicated recently that he's probably going to wind down, so fully retire. So, but it'd be good to get that match in before he does.
I mean, he's been winding down for the last year or two for sure, compared to what he normally would do. Hey, whatever happened to Cody Rhodes? Wasn't he on the roster? Dalton Castle for sure makes a lot of sense. Obviously, he's somebody that's he's popped up in AEW here and there, including like a week ago, so he makes a lot of sense. You mentioned before Matt Taven. I would say no, just because he is definitely a kind of person where it's like Jericho get cheered, I think, way too much, but maybe just to kind of give Jericho a win. He could fight Roosh. Roosh is on the roster, so if he wanted to do that.
Yeah. And then,
you mentioned before PCO possibility, and then I don't see Gresham coming back. I think he was kind of upset that he lost to Claudio, but maybe and then there's the Claudio rematch, and that would be it.
Yeah. So and like we mentioned before, I guess he'll probably also take. I think he'll probably try to take out anybody affiliated with Ring of Honor. So yeah, PPP. Yeah, people who anybody who's maybe had any sort of
I can see him attacking Ian Riccaboni at the commentation station. I can see him, like I said, taking out Jaron Lynn in the back, and then having the occasional match every week or two with somebody from the roster.
Or you bring in someone who's still active or that has affiliation with Ring of Honor, like maybe I don't know, just for example, maybe you do like a short match or some sort of match with Paul London. Just putting a name out. So he's still doing stuff. Don't know about Brian Kendrick these days, but maybe
he almost debuted again. I don't know. Do we forgive him or not? AEW depends on if they like you enough, I guess.
Yeah.
I always said my favorite future trivia question is who almost wrestled on NXT and then almost wrestled 2 weeks later on AEW. You know what I mean? Because like the fact that both those matches got pulled.
Yeah, that's kind of yeah.
I thought this is worthy of talking about. Aleister Black recently went live on I think Instagram or whatever, Twitter, saying the rumors are bullshit, that he's not leaving AEW necessarily, that he's just asked for some time off. Tony granted it, and that don't believe everything you said. So it might not be the end of Aleister Black or Malachi Black in AEW.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably it's probably a lesson to kind of wait until you hear from the actual person, because sometimes dirt sheets aren't always right, and to that end, I guess that's the same thing applies to Buddy Matthews. It looks like he was going to leave, but it turns out that might be also a bit overstated. Yeah. I think he's just going back to Australia to sort some visa stuff, and maybe taking a break. But he's not. I don't think he's leaving either.
Yeah, I'd heard the visa thing too. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think. I think Tony kind of said that he's not. Unless he's not really. I mean, there's extenuating circumstances, but he's not really going to release guys. If they're signed to a big contract, they're going to try to work things out. So I definitely see. I definitely see them both coming back, but I wouldn't mind. I don't know what the timetable is for his return, but do something big with Brody King. I think that is underrated. So, we'll see what happens there. Hopefully they get a bigger push when they come back. So I don't think. He had intimated that he wasn't totally happy, but we'll see what happens. I think that they're all talented dudes.
Richie.
Oh yeah, yep.
Oh, Nope. Yeah, there you go. Turn your fingers though. We're almost there. Going over next week's Dynamite here. The match is announced so far for October 5th. It's National Scissoring Day. So we'll see what that includes. I'm sure we'll see some follow-up with Swerve and Keith Lee, coming up for their coming match. Luchasaurus, the man who is trying to tie Big Show for most turns. He's in action. I like his new look. I like the black mask. He'll be in action next week. Probably a squash match because it's just in action. But here's a big tag team match for you. Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson team against Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara.
Mm-hmm. They like doing that. Like Jericho always they always like doing those a fight from within sort of faction.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
He's done that before. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Dan Garcia actually turns, or is it going to be another swerve thing? But yeah, it's a big match.
This should be.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing Bryan Danielson and Daniel Garcia as an actual tag team at some point, which I think we'll probably get.
There's a damn good chance we'll see that down the line. I could see that happening for sure. Here's a good one that I'm looking forward to: Darby Allen versus Jay Lethal. No knock against that. Two solid higher mid card guys. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, pretty decent. It's just it was almost like a year ago or something. I remember when Jay Lethal got first brought in, and then he was almost immediately just shafted to dark. And so I'm glad that they actually got something for him now, and then he's at he's sort of a decent part of the show. So yeah, Yeah, no, it should be a really good match.
And then finally, in his first match since May, one of the best paid people on the roster, the highest rising superstar, he's better than you and you know it. MJF will take on Wheeler Yuta, his first match since his loss to Wardlow. Well, I guess you could say technically he won the ladder match, so but his first real match where he'll actually get physical since May. So looking forward to that here. I'm glad to see MJF actually having to don some tights and fight.
Yeah, that was cool. Like, it was weird. Like obviously it was Wheeler Yuta's hometown, on Dynamite, but I don't feel like maybe the crowd knew that before he said that. Like, oh, okay, we'll cheer you now, because like MJF was definitely getting cheered over MJF, but then after, that's MJF, he was able to turn them, and then it was that big brawl at the Skybox, which was pretty cool. But it should be a good match. I expect MJF to win, but it should be a solid match here.
I mean, 100% MJF's going to win unless we have some sort of DQ and like this continues. Yeah, because MJF's the man that's going to fight at Full Gear for the title.
Probably win.
And I'll be fine with it, man. I'm looking forward to the day MJF is our world champion.
Yeah. No, I think he'll probably hold it for a while.
Well, anything else you want to just?
No, I think
I was say dribble drabble, but that's not. I'm just made that up.
Made up words. I think that's kind of we've kind of said everything. But yeah, I don't know. Like we'll be back whenever. And I mean, I know Rampage has been, so I'll probably watch that, and looking forward to next week's Dynamite, and see you the build up for Full Gear. So should be fun.
Absolutely. So grab a loved one, celebrate National Scissoring Day, follow Richie and me and all our endeavors on here and the Movie Hero Network and the Pierce Co. and Pornhub and whatever else we do. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, OnlyFans. We have a 2-for-1 special here. 2 guys, 1 bowl. What? I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Good night.